On our spiritual journey, we often encounter various forces that shape our life experience. Two of these forces are ego and ignorance, which, when combined, create a toxic mix that can hinder our growth and well-being. To understand how these elements play a role in our existence, it is crucial to delve into each one of them and explore how we can free ourselves from their negative influence. The ego, the mask that isolates us. The ego is that part of us that seeks external validation and defines our identity through achievements, possessions, and relationships. Often, it feeds on comparison and judgment, leading us to believe that we are superior or inferior to others. This identification with the ego isolates us from our true essence and plunges us into an endless cycle of dissatisfaction and anxiety. When we allow the ego to dictate our actions, our decisions are based on fear, insecurity, and the desire for control. The ego clings to the idea that we are separate beings, distorting the reality that we are part of an interconnected whole. This illusion of separation fosters internal and external conflicts, creating an environment where compassion and love are eclipsed by competition and judgment. Ignorance, the blindness that holds us back. On the other hand, ignorance is the lack of knowledge and understanding about ourselves and the world around us. Often, this ignorance is not just the absence of information, but a lack of awareness of our emotions, beliefs, and behavioral patterns. Living in ignorance immerses us in a distorted reality, where we accept unquestioningly the beliefs that have been imposed upon us. Ignorance feeds the ego, as it prevents us from seeing beyond the limitations of our conditioned minds. Instead of questioning our beliefs and expanding our consciousness, we remain trapped in a cycle of repetitive thoughts and behaviors. This perpetuates a state of complacency and resistance to change, stifling our capacity for growth and transformation. The toxic mix, a vicious cycle. The combination of ego and ignorance creates a vicious cycle that distances us from our spiritual essence. By strengthening the ego, we become more ignorant of our own needs and the impact our actions have on others. This toxic relationship can manifest in various forms, such as a lack of empathy, judgment towards ourselves and others, and emotional suffering. When we allow this combination to take control, we might feel a sense of emptiness, disappointment, and a void of purpose in our lives. We overlook the divine spark that resides within each of us and, instead, cling to a false sense of identity based on appearances and external recognition. The path to liberation. However, there is a path to liberation from this toxic mix. The first step is gaining awareness. We must strive to observe our thoughts and actions without judgment, understanding that we are not our ego or our limiting beliefs. The practice of meditation and reflection allows us to quiet the mind, creating space for self-exploration and self-knowledge. At the same time, we need to work on expanding our consciousness. This involves educating ourselves, questioning our beliefs, and being open to new experiences. Cultivating curiosity and the desire to learn helps us transcend ignorance and connect with our true nature. Through the study of spirituality, philosophy, and art, we can uncover the depth of our existence, shedding the chains imposed by ego and ignorance. The transition towards love and compassion. Finally, we must allow love and compassion to guide our actions. When we begin to see others as fellow humans on a similar journey, our perspective changes. By practicing empathy and authentic connection, we can dissolve the barriers of the ego and let the light of our true essence shine. Liberating ourselves from ego and ignorance is not a linear process. It is an ongoing journey of self-discovery and growth. Each step we take towards consciousness and love is an act of courage that contributes to our spiritual evolution. The toxic mix of ego and ignorance is a challenge that we all face in our humanity. However, by recognizing their presence and actively working on our liberation, we can open ourselves to a life filled with meaning, love, and connection. Ultimately, the spiritual proposal is to remember that we are divine beings, capable of transcending the limitations of our minds and connecting with the very essence of what it means to be human. In doing so, we discover that, at our core, we are love and light, ready to expand our consciousness and live in harmony with the universe.